Thanks for press and play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. My name is Wood. Gonna jump into some bite down boxing coming out of a busy weekend. It was boxing on multiple platforms. So shout out to everybody who got a big W and takes a step forward in their career. I want to talk about this. We see the press conferences going on right now for Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, and it's a solid fight. Uh, with Jake Paul and Matchroom Boxing or DAZN, they're trying to sit here and take it. I think it's a waste of time to take attention off of the fight and the fact that you have a good fight. One of the bigger fights that can be made. We see all the issues with getting the best of the best on the men's side to fight each other. It's a shit show. There is no solution. Nobody's working towards a solution or anything. So it is what it is. But to sit here and try to try to snipe at Bob Arum, it's only asking us or inviting the opportunity to bring out some of the worst commentary in the sport. If you've ever watched the channel, I don't get on here and talk about people's hairlines. I don't talk about an individual's what their dental work looks like. I don't talk about. I don't make. What's up, KO? I don't make comments on people on a personal level. But when we get to talking about the females fighting, we're gonna get all the idiots in here. And that's what we do. Yeah, it should be excellent. I agree, Ronald Franklin. Sister, whatever. Okay. But yeah, if it's one thing and it pisses me off to no end, I constantly see Clarissa Shields, who's not universally liked, but I constantly see a lot of comments about her looking like a man, and I think that's deep rooted in racist thinking and whatnot. I've been and any black woman involved in athletics, especially when they become dominant. That's the first thing that we hear. And I'm sitting here, I'm looking at Savannah Marshall. I mean, she's not exactly, she kind of to me has some mannish qualities about her. I mean, she's not like flat out Sports Illustrated beauty herself, but I would never sit here and really, my commentary on her as a fighter would never be about her looks. That's not my thing. But so back to what I'm saying, I just think to get in here and argue about who's supporting women's boxing, who's not supporting women's boxing. Bob Arum is out of line or out of pocket. He's outdated on his thoughts on women boxing. What he said was pretty spot on. Now, did he piss, is it a bad look for ESPN for Bob to put out here that supposedly in this IFL TV interview, he said the answer is ESPN made the schedule and they couldn't care less about women's boxing. That's probably true. And I mean, if we look at all of the stuff that's coming out behind the scenes at ESPN, how Max Kellerman was treated, only people who talk like that are ignorant and won't say stuff in front of a person, especially disrespect. Yeah, yeah, that's not, like I said, that's not how I really talk about sports. I think if you're still talking about LeBron James and his hair at this point, or his hairline at this point. I saw comments about Keith Thurman, with his hairline on YouTube comment sections. And it's like, are you 10 years old? Why are you staring at another man that difficult? Can he fight or can he not fight? I don't care if but that's just me. That's just me. But yeah, I think if Bob, and then when they did get together, Michaela Mayer's unification fight with the woman, the European that she just fought a couple months ago, Bob said all the right stuff about women's boxing, and and he pointed out some the challenges with promoting women's boxing. I was very complimentary of DAZN when they went out and made the fight with Chantel Cameron and Mary McGee. That was a unification fight. Um, they got Kelly Reese and uh, Camara from Canada. They had that fight. And now they're going to have the winners of those two fights face one another. We just saw Jamie Mitchell beat the hell out of this Carly Skelly Saturday night on DAZN. So we see that DAZN has put money into women's boxing, but that's because if you saw Ray Ford fight Saturday night, talking about Porter, Lemon, Lime, Microwave, Porter's dress, his wardrobe is interesting, but and it's a fun way. It's ways to cry. I ain't gonna sit here like I'm Mr. Progressive and Mr. Politically correct, and I don't never have some fun. I can see cracking on somebody's suit color and tie choice, but that's a lot different than talking about somebody's physical characteristics, in my opinion. Uh, but hey, everybody run your channel how you run your channel. I'm just turning away from bullshit when I see it on. But but yeah, if you saw Ray Ford Saturday night, you know, DAZN has to have somebody fighting on their cards. And so if you got to go in here and get a women a shot just so that you have content, I guess that's what you have to do. Like I said, Ray Ford got out of there with a decision that he probably didn't deserve Saturday night. And with all the youngsters that DAZN and Matchroom tried to bring in when they got started, most of those guys are getting picked off left and right, and we're finding out that they can't move forward with these guys as attractions. Shout out to Bam Rodriguez. Also, do me a favor if you can. I did a little editorial piece on Jesse Rodriguez and his victory Saturday night. It's over on www.bitedownboxing.com. I just had some thoughts on the young man and just some thoughts on how we look at breakout performers in boxing. Like the whole boxing world today is not talking about Jesse Rodriguez and the performance that he put on Saturday night and the win that he got against and who he got it against and what it could be next for him. Conversely, Joe Burrow is the talk of the sports world this week leading into the Super Bowl because he took down Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. So it's just my mind on how I think of stuff, but I'd appreciate any views. Oh, that's a good fight, man. Rodriguez can box his ass off. I was very impressed with what the young man did. But yeah, to get back to this thing right here, you got a good fight. I'm anxious to see it. It took him a while to get that one over the finish line, but it is coming, April 30th, I think. And they got Markowski. I think he's like the president or the businessman here in America for DAZN. He says I will choose to ignore Bob Arum's comments. Actually, they will blow up in his face to a certain extent because it will draw attention that will ultimately result in eyeballs watching this fight. So you can almost thank him on that basis. We're going to go after him. You saw Jake today. Jake went after him on it, and Jake should. Outdated views should be challenged on a platform as big as Jake's got. He's going to do that. Who gives a shit? I mean, who gives a shit what Jake Paul has to say? And this man is sitting here talking about fighting Tyson Fury, fighting Canelo Alvarez in 3 years. I don't know how this guy continues to get a platform, but I mean, when you earn $40 million in a year boxing or in a boxing ring, I guess you get to say what you want and it carries some kind of weight. But I think for the most part, Bob Arum was pretty spot on. A lot of guys don't want to see women's fights, however you want to say it. The 2-minute round versus 3-minute round thing, that's another point of contention. Oddly, Taylor and Pursoon, the first fight that took place on the undercard when of Joshua and Ruiz a couple years ago. Taylor and Pursoon was a damn good fight. Nobody was complaining about 3 minutes after that fight. It was a good fight. There have been other fights out there that for the women. Shields and Gabriel's was a pretty good fight. Shields and Hammer was a pretty good fight. Nobody was really complaining about 3 minutes. I know the 2 minute issue is what it is, but you know the women in tennis, they only get they get best of 3 sets. They don't get best of 5. You know, women in the golf game, they hit from a tee that's closer to the hole or whatever. It's differences in, you know, the women play with a smaller ball in basketball. I mean, it's differences in the sports. Damn, get over it. But you know, boxing, man, if there's anything to be argued about in boxing, a boxing fan is gonna argue about it. I learned to separate what I'm looking at when it comes to the two genders. They just yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the rules, that's the framework that they got to get their job done in. It is a little difficult. It is different. It does force the action to be different. You know, it's kind of it takes away a fighter's ability to kind of go in between your adjustments, you know, and go to the body, get your head work in, work your jab. It does do all of that. NASCAR, they race with restrictor plates is another thing that's out there, you know, a difference in sports. But that we shouldn't blame it on the women though. It's not their fault. Um, so yeah, I mean, I just take it. I take what I'm. Now, it's difficult as hell to write about women's boxing as I'm trying to write a fight up because I'm trying to look down and see what sentence I type, and then the round is over. So it is challenging, but that doesn't mean that we haven't seen good technique. We saw Jamie Mitchell, as you were just saying, Finkley, a couple minutes ago. She beat up the Skelly girl. She beat the hell out of this Skelly girl Saturday night. A couple of weeks back, we had Sinisa Estrada beat the hell out of knock a girl down 2 or 3 times. Marlena Esparza is can box really well. You know, so now, and that's the thing, like, the one legitimate issue is a lot of these women a lot of the opponents that are getting on TV, which this makes Bob's point all the better. But a lot of the women, a lot of the opponents, not the A-side fighter, they're going to be tripping when they see Claressa blow this tall chick out. I'm going to come back to that one, man. I got to see a little bit more. I think that's going to be a pretty decent fight. I don't have a winner, but I think that's going to be a pretty decent fight. I do. But made me forget what I was getting ready to close with. Oh, yeah, a lot of these women, the B side, the opponent really isn't all that deserving of being in the ring a lot of times. And that's the whole thing. Like, why would you go to 3 minutes and we got a fighter in here? The girl that fought Claressa Saturday night had 22 fights and was 21-0-1. She didn't deserve to be in the ring with Claressa Shields, from what I'm understanding. So that's like in the NBA, the 8th ranked team is like 2 or 3 games above 500, and they got a 7-game series against the #1 seed. Why would you want to see the best of 7 on a team that just barely went 500 during the regular season? But the NBA will never change that back to a best of 5 series or a best of 3 series. It's still a 7-game series, which makes no sense to me because that's a bad product that you putting on. You putting this crappy team on TV for 4 games. It could have been over in 2 games, or it could be over in 3 with best of 5. So it just is what it is. You know, I think the Ellen Setaroos fight and DAZN, I think that's gonna be a banger. I think they'll throw down, and that should be pretty entertaining, which I believe is now going to be on the undercard of Taylor and Serrano. I think Serrano was trying to get in Katie Taylor head. Her fight game is planned to beat Serrano for 2-minute rounds. Yeah, but you know, it's not like they can really change that. And I made a comment on one of these posts. You know, I thought like Las Vegas might be the only place where the state commission isn't standing in front of 3 minute rounds. I think that's one place where the women can request to do 3 minute rounds. I think New York, I mean, yeah, with it being in New York, I don't think that's the sanctioning body or any rules other than the New York State Athletic Commission, I think would be blocking them from fighting 3 minutes. Maybe I'm wrong there, but nothing gets worked out after the contracts have been. All of that was in the contract language, so it's highly unlikely that they would go to 3 minutes at this point. Now that the deal is in place, because if they're gonna go to 3 minutes, then they gotta go. They gotta talk about the money. They if the deal was made based on 2 minute rounds, and now you're gonna go to three, then they're gonna want to step back and talk about different money. So, and let's keep it funky. I mean, Serrano has been knocking other females out with the 2 minute round, so just get in there and fight. I heard one person complaining a couple weeks ago was the first round. The thing I don't understand about the fans is Shields been hit by DAZN, and I doubt this tall, lanky girl lady got Paul. Like, I don't know. I think Savannah Marshall. I think she has a bit of style about her. Seems that if what's her name? If Marshall is hitting women and knocking them out, and I'm seeing women get knocked down or get knocked out, I can't really discredit that when I'm seeing Claressa Shields hit women repeatedly, and there not be any signs of her getting hurt, or the opponent getting hurt. I mean, she beat this girl up for 10 rounds Saturday night, from what I'm understanding, and the girl never went down. So I don't think it's really a matter necessarily of power alone. I just think what does Savannah Marshall's boxing, how does it stand up against Claressa Shields' boxing? How does Claressa Shields deal with somebody who's gonna actually who's capable, or looks to be capable of trying to compete? A lot of these women are just surviving. Marieve DeCare just survived. I mean, she came in elbows, head, forearms, everything for 10 rounds just to survive. She couldn't really box. Ivana Habazin, piggyback off your logic, Shields been beating all the chicks with KO records. Who really had knockout power that she faced? I mean, Hammer was like 24-0 with only 11 knockouts. Gabriel's didn't have a ton of knockouts. And I watched a couple of fights before Gabriel fought Claressa, and she got knocked down in the first or second round. Yeah, I just think it's gonna be a matter of skills, man. I don't. Again, I think a lot of these women that yeah, but let's be honest. I mean, until Shields came along, a lot of these women didn't even have opponents. I was at the fight in 2019. I want to say 2019 February. The article was out there on bitedownboxing.com. It was all women that night. It was like 7 women fights. Bro, some of those women hadn't been in the ring in 12 years, but they were fighting that night. Some of those women were like, one of the women was like 48 or 52 years old or something. The Ebony Bridges girl from Australia or whatever, she was there. A lot of these fighters, the women's ranks are anything goes, bro. I mean, the girl that Senicia Estrada knocked out in 3 seconds or 4 seconds or whatever, she had no business being in the ring. That's a knockout on Estrada's record. So when we look at all of these different records of these women, we don't really want to know how the sausage is made. You know, some of these, some of these, some of these people got to fight. They got the opponent. It was a dude out front watching the women come into the building and was like, "Hey, would you want to make $800 a night?" And that's how they get the fight. So I'm just saying, that's not my angle to Shields and Savannah Marshall. I want to see I want to see Savannah Marshall fight Femke Hermans when they fight. That's a mutual opponent. We did see Hannah Rankin against Savannah Marshall already. I think that fight went 3 or 4 rounds. She stopped Hannah Rankin. We saw Shields and Rankin, I believe. Is that who she fought in Kansas on DAZN, or was that Herman? But we saw when she fought Rankin, they went 10 rounds. I mean, so I just want to see them fight, man. As we get to if Savannah Marshall beats Femke Hermans, and we get it lined up that we get the two in the ring that we kind of been waiting to see. And I see how the training camps go. I see what the result was between Hermans and Marshall. You know, I'll have an opponent. I mean, I'll have my prediction in that one. But right now, I'm just kind of watching it play out. I'm very interested to see, as you mentioned, Cruz DAZN. I'm very interested to see how her and Ellen Sederus how that fight comes off. I think it's gonna be explosive. Um, I've kind of heard enough from Claressa. You know, she has to talk. She has to defend herself for one, and she has to be noisy. I'm just, some of her talk for me, man. I've just been hearing it a little too much, man. So I'm glad she won. I'm glad they had to face, and I don't even like trash talk on the men's side, to be honest. I'm not really, I'm really not moved by talking. You know, somebody would do all the talking in the world and then get in the ring, a la Adrian Broner, and won't even throw punches. You know what I'm saying? That's like a football game, and the team don't even hike the ball. You just get 3 delayed games and got to punt the ball. Like, how do you go in the ring and not do what you know? The only way to score is to throw punches, and we got fighters who go in the ring and don't even throw punches. I don't. So I'm not all that moved by the trash talk. Some people do watch boxing for the theatrics and all of the over the top stuff. You know, it's a little bit there for everybody. But I thought I couldn't date Shields because, yeah, bruh. Yeah, because I just I do. Like I said, she said something. She made a comment. She made a comment beforehand. I'm going over there to make people remember why I'm pound for pound #1. And to allow me to reintroduce myself, so to speak, if you will. And people got mad that she said that, and it's like, damn, this sister can't say nothing. Like, she was just supposed to get on the plane, be quiet, show up, be quiet, weigh in, and fight. Like, damn, she can't talk her trash. So I don't know, man. I just again, I've been seeing she looks like a man comment, for like 5 or 6 years now. And if you don't find black women attractive, or you're not black, or you don't date black women, like, how is your opinion on what her looks are? What does it matter? Uh, like I said though, in the beginning, looking at Savannah Marshall, it's not like she's the straightforward beauty of the week herself. I don't think she's ugly, but I mean, I don't know, man. That's just, to me, I just get tired of the physical. I mean, attacking people on physical characteristics and everything. Uh, that's not my style. But hey, when I'm gonna try to be police of the world on that. Anyway, man, that's the end of my lunch. Again, DAZN. I mean, yeah, DAZN and Matchroom, they got a good fight. Put a good, continue building out the undercard. I don't remember any of the other big names that are attached to it just yet. Hopefully, hopefully there's another fight or two the British people in for a rude awakening. It would be another legendary performance regardless. Shield is the face of women's boxing. Well said. Well said. Hey, Bite Down Boxing, don't let them count you out. Again, please check out the Jesse Rodriguez article that's over there if you haven't seen the fight. Just some of my thoughts on the young kid. Again, support the channel by, if you bet on sports, betus.com.pa and use promo code JOIN125. Some of that could help it, could make its way back to supporting Bite Down Boxing and let me do my thing. Let me get on out of here, man. Pay me no mind. Sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Have a phenomenal week. Peace.